Hello, Ed.
Howdy, James.
I've come to discuss the issue of tailings ponds in the oil sands. This is a black eye to the country's image. You now have had two serious environmental catastrophes with regards to birds landing on the ponds. While the world is watching, Ed, what is your government doing to rectify this situation?
Have you ever visited our oil sands project?
No.
I would like to invite you to take a tour of our facilities before you comment, because this is a serious issue.
Ed, thank you for the invitation to visit the oil sands facility. However, I have too many questions that need to be answered, and I strongly feel the issue is still a black eye to Alberta.
Shoot them past me, Cameron. We're an open book when it comes to the oil sands, and we have nothing to hide.
What are your government's policies in protecting the environment?
A large part of mining operations involves clearing trees and brush from a site and removing the overburden, the topsoil, muskeg, sand, clay and gravel that sits atop the oil sands deposit. The topsoil and muskeg are stockpiled, so they can be replaced as sections of the mined-out area are reclaimed. The rest of the overburden is used to reconstruct the landscape when mining is complete.
I see.
Developers are required to restore oil sands mining sites to at least the equivalent of their previous biological productivity, which means the region as a whole forms an ecosystem landscape at least as healthy and productive as that which existed before development. Oil sands operations emit carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, which is considered to be a contributor to climate change. Oil sands developers have been actively working towards reducing CO2 emissions by 45 per barrel by 2010, compared to 1990 levels.
That may be true, but you can see the tailings ponds from outer space, and this is all waste that you create that harm the environment.
No, it's not. To be fair to the oil sands industry, everything present in the tailing ponds was originally present, except for some sodium. Due to continued water use, the contents are in much higher concentrations. Tailings are made up of natural materials including water, fine silts, leftover bitumen, salts and soluble organic compounds. They also include solvents that are added to bitumen during the separation process.
I see.
Ponds are used to manage tailings, while they settle over the initial 3 to 5 year period, and are a safe alternative to having tailings enters the watershed. Tailings ponds provide up to 90% of a company's water needs through the reuse of pond water, significantly reducing the amount of fresh water used.
In all this Alberta wisdom, what part does the indigenous people play to ensure that the earth that has been disturbed is put back to its natural form?
The Aboriginal people have a large impact on what happens in the oil sands area. For instance, in 2008, more than 1,500 Aboriginal people were employed directly by oil sands operations. Current corporations that operate in the area mandates that 10% of the oil sands workforce is Aboriginal.
Really?
The facts show that the value of contracts between Alberta oil sands companies and Aboriginal companies was $575 million.
Ed, you're only talking about the money. What about the land?
The Aboriginal people are consulted and are actively involved in every phase of reclamation policies and practices. The media has misrepresented the facts, which leaves it up to the individual interpretation, and this further distorts the real picture.
You still don't have me convinced.
Well, the facts speak for themselves, and the facts are the truth. You have to remember, James, this is not a movie, this is real life.